So the Pixel 8a is finally here, offering all that usual googly pixely phone goodness but for less cash than the regular flagships. Good news if you tend to spunk all your money on liquid happiness. However, the Pixel 8a will still cost you from $500,000 minus any money saved from trade-in shenanigans, so it can't exactly be described as cheap. And then there's the added complication of last year's Pixel 7a, which now costs just 329 Great British Pound direct from Google. So should you save some cash on the Pixel 7a or go for the fresh new Pixel 8a? Well, I've already spent a good few days with my SIM card secreted inside of the Pixel 8a, so here's my early impressions on the camera tech, the gaming chops, all that good stuff, and how it stacks up against that 7a. And for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do plug subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! So first up, what is in that box? Well, you got yourself a spangly new Pixel 8a, a USB cable, and a USB-A to USB-C adapter. And that's it besides the usual pokey SIM pin and a big fat safety warranty and regulatory guide. As usual, bugger all power adapter, so you will have to provide your own. So the Pixel 8a, just like the old Pixel 7a, is a delightfully dinky 6.1 inches. It's almost a deliriously small display for a smartphone in 2024. But sadly, just like that Pixel 7a, you've got pretty chunky bezels surrounding that screen, so it's not actually as compact as you'd imagine. It's still got a proper bit of Jimmy Hill action down below. But the good news is the Pixel 8a sports more rounded corners similar to the Pixel 8. So it's more comfortable to clutch, definitely improved hand feel all round. But the stuff what the Pixel 8a is made out of basically the same as the Pixel 7a. So you've got Gorilla Glass 3 up front. No pre-installed screen protector on there, so you might want to slap one on just to avoid any potential scratches, etc. You've then once again got yourself a slightly curved metal frame. Gives the Pixel 8a quite a premium vibe, and rightly so, as it costs you basically $500,000 now. And then around back you once again have a placky arse. But while last year's Pixel 7a went for a shiny glossy vibe, the Pixel 8a instead changes this up to a lovely frosted matte finish. And I'm a huge fan of that change, because not only does the Pixel 8a feel nicer against the hand, feels less plastic, but it also picks up grimy, greasy fingerprints and the like a lot less easily. You really have to give this thing a bit of a buffing on your sleeve or anything to smarten it up. And a slightly different selection of colours for the Pixel 8a. Got Obsidian, black, Porcelain, white, and then two more colourful efforts, Bay and Aloe. Aloe. I got to admit, my initial reaction when I pulled this Aloe Pixel 8a out of the box and saw it in the flesh was kind of akin to seeing someone being attacked by an angry badger, kind of like a, oh. But then I really quickly warmed up to it. I actually rather like it now. So like discovering that person being attacked by the badger is James Corden. It's like, oh, all right. It's bright and it's bold and it certainly stands out. And yeah, you've still got that distinctive googly edge-to-edge camera bump for now in the same shade. So again, bugger all rattly around action when the smartphone is sat on a desk or a table or whatever. And the Pixel 8a, like last year's Pixel 7a, is once again IP67 water and dust resistant, so it can take a full-on splash and you can even drop it in the sink or the bath or whatever. Just whip it out, towel it off and it'll all be good. So overall, the Pixel 8a is a slight refinement of last year's design, but at least it is a refinement, they didn't balls it up. So let's slide our way onto software, and of course it's Android 14 that comes slapped on the Pixel 8a straight out of the box, which the Pixel 7a has now upgraded to. And Google is generously offering a full 7 years of OS updates and security patching with the Pixel 8a. So again, I maintain that before this thing runs out of support, we'll probably have had Armageddon and we'll all be living in caves licking moss off the walls. In comparison, the Pixel 7a came with 5 years of support, of which 4 remain, which to be fair is still plenty and much better than most non-googly phones offer. However, while you've got Google's usual lovely stock version of Android running on both the 7a and the 8a, the feature set is slightly different. Majority of stuff is identical. So for instance, you've got the same excellent security features stashed on both of these, including Google's Titan M2 security chip. This is used to store your biometrics on both the Pixel 7a and the Pixel 8a. You've got an in-display fingerprint sensor on both of these blows and it works an absolute charm. Nice and nippy and responsive. And a fast-acting bit of face recognition as well. Just tap that power button and you're pretty much straight into your desktops without even seeing that lock screen. Got that brilliant spam filter tool. You've got all the excellent fresh new safety features stashed on here as well, like some car crash detection, crisis alerts. And the Pixel 7a has started to get some of the AI features that you'll find naturally here on the Pixel 8a, including a good bit of circle to search action, so you can just draw a ring around whatever you're interested in, and then a Google search will be performed, like so. However, not all of those AI features have been bunged into the Pixel 7a just yet, and who knows if all of them are even going to eventually trickle their way onto it. So for instance, the good old AI wallpaper, which you'll find here on the Pixel 8a, is still missing in action on the 7a. Although, to be honest, it's not really a massive miss. I'd imagine if you're on various substances, you'll probably get more of a kick out of it than others. And likewise, in Google Photos, you've got the Magic Editor tool and various other bits here on the Pixel 8a to help spruce up your pics, whereas there's bugger all sign of any of that here on the Pixel 7a. And you've got very similar display tech slapped on both these Pixel blowers. The Pixel 8a once again sports a 6.1-inch eye-pleasing OLED panel. It's 2400 by 1080 pixel resolution, so pretty crisp, especially given the compact size of this screen. Gorgeous contrast and natural look and colour reproductions. You've got full HDR10 streaming support in services like Netflix. And like the Pixel 7a, I'm very happy kicking back with a full-length movie or whatever here on the Pixel 8a, despite that more compact, diminutive size. Only a dinky wee selfie cam orifice intruding on that action when you go full screen. However, while the contrast, the detail levels, the colour reproduction, etc. is very similar on the Pixel 8a versus the 7a, there is one massive difference, and that's with the brightness levels. I've got both the Pixel 8a screen and the Pixel 7a display maxed out here, and you can clearly see the Pixel 8a much more eye-searing than that 7a, clearer to see in strong daylight. Does a great job countering strong reflections. And I felt like the Pixel 7a's display is just ever so slightly warmer in more circumstances as well, but when you switch on the old night light, you'll notice the Pixel 8a is considerably warmer, does a great job of filtering all that blue light, so good for a bit of evening doom scrolling. And the refresh rate scales from 60Hz up to 120Hz for supported apps, and certainly zipping through that lovely stock Android experience nice and fluid. And both these Pixels sport a stereo speaker setup as well. Let's just boost up the volume, see what we got. First, that Pixel 8a.
So this past week, I've had the fresh new TakeWatch Pro 5 Enduro strapped to my clammy northern flesh.
And now some Pixel 7a, the exact same clip.
So this past week, I've had the fresh new TakeWatch Pro 5 Enduro strapped to my clammy northern flesh.
And certainly to my knackered old lugs, it sounds like the audio output is basically the same on the Pixel 8a versus the 7a. Reasonably loud to be heard over lots of background clamour, but not too tinny either. Now, just like the more expensive Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro before it, the Pixel 8a is powered by Google's own Tensor G3 chipset. And it's backed by 8 gigs of lovely RAM, and it's definitely a step up performance-wise over last year's Pixel 7a with its Tensor G2. It's especially apparent when you're gaming. The Pixel 7a still struggles somewhat when things get a wee bit heated, shall we say, in Genshin Impact on those higher graphic settings, whereas the Pixel 8a absolutely breezes through all kinds of shindiggery, can take on dozens of nasty buggers at once, and that frame rate stays pretty stable. And the Tensor G3 doesn't get quite as hot and bothered as the older Tensor G2, so the Pixel 8a remain reasonably cool even after a solid hour of Genshin action. My palm hairs weren't singed, and that performance certainly wasn't throttled. So yeah, if you want something to warm your hands in the winter, well, the older Pixel 7a is certainly the better option. You got the same old Google gaming mode on here, not much to talk about at all, quite literally. I do wish they just get Sony or someone to come along and do a gaming mode for them, because honestly it's pretty bare bones stuff. And the battery size has increased slightly on the Pixel 8a versus the old 7a as well. 4,492 mAh capacity, up slightly from 4,385. Not much of a jump at all, but the battery life has been pretty solid so far here on the Pixel 8a. Only been testing it for a few days, of course. I haven't had to juice it up during the day. A single full charge has lasted me right through until I'm all tucked up with Teddy at night. And yeah, that includes plenty of audio streaming in the background when the phone is hibernating, and roughly 6 to 7 hours of screen on time otherwise. But stay tuned for a full in-depth Pixel 8a review. I'm going to be using it for at least another week just to make sure that battery life is as good as it seems. Sadly, when it comes to the recharging, not quite so good news. Let's say it's 18 watt wired charging, same as the old Pixel 7a, so in other words, slower than a three-legged arthritic tortoise. You do at least have wireless charging support on here, and that also is slow as balls. And let's finish up this lovely Pixel 8a unboxing and 7a comparison with a squint at that our camera tech. And not much change here. In fact, it appears that you've basically got the exact same camera hardware slapped on the 8a compared with the 7a. So once again, that primary shooter is a 64 meg quad PD camera with optical image stabilization. And this is used for the various camera modes, including the portrait modes, the bit of night sight action, which is automatically activated when the pixels recognize that the lighting is quite cack. Now, both phones perform almost identically when the lighting is decent. Your photos will boast natural colors, so vivid subjects will really pop. And the Pixel 8a only occasionally produces slightly warmer results. Meanwhile, any HDR shindiggery is happily dealt with by the older Pixel as well as this fresh new model. However, the Pixel 8a is superior for low light shots, with a night mode that seems to max out at 6 seconds exposure rather than 3 seconds like the 7a, with the result being more natural contrast and less grain. And then in addition to that primary shooter, you've also got a 13 megapixel ultra wide angle snapper on both the 7a and the 8a. And both of these are absolutely fine and pretty much identical if you want to fit a lot into your photo. And if you flip around to the front, the Pixel 8a once again sports a 13 megapixel selfie shooter, again just like the 7a. And again, there's not really anything between this pair of pixels. They're both perfectly alright for capturing shareable shots of your facial region. So far, so very similar indeed. However, when you jump on into the editing tools, this is where you'll notice a difference between the Pixel 8a and the older 7a. You've got all those fresh new AI tools stuffed into the 8a. This allows you to do all kinds of clever pants stuff, including actually moving things around in a frame. You can make your subjects bloody massive, you can completely delete them, whatever you fancy. And as before, you can record up to 4K resolution video on the Pixel 8a with a dual mic setup for audio capture. And the Pixel 8a once again does a solid for your home movie extravaganzas, coughing up some sharp looking video that boasts natural tones and isn't too put off by strong lighting. Audio capture is reliably good front and back, and even if you do pick up a bit of gusty wind type shenanigans, Google could deal with that with its nifty audio eraser feature. But I'll be testing out a lot more for my full Pixel 8a review. And both of these Pixel blowers can also record 4K video footage using the selfie cams. This bit here was shot on the Pixel 7a, and this right here is recorded using the fresh new Pixel 8a. So yeah. And there you have it, my lovelies. That in a delicious wee nutshell is the fresh new Google Pixel 8a mid-range smartphone. As I say, can be yours for 499 quid, or are you more tempted to save a good bit of cash and go for last year's Pixel 7a instead? It'd be great to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. As I say, stay tuned for my in-depth Pixel 8a review. My sim is going to stay lodged in that lovely bright green chassis for a good few days extra. For more on the latest and greatest tech, please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell, and have yourselves a bloody wonderful rest of the week. Cheers everyone, love you!